Welcome Aventur Adventures in Lollygagging. We are speaking to you from the past. Our past selves are speaking to future selves, as I am not actually here right now. I couldn't play the day this is airing. So we're doing a makeup game because everyone else here is nice enough to actually spend a day outside of their regular schedule to hang out with me. So what do you have to say to your future selves? You've got like 3 days that you can give yourself some advice for the future. Ashley, what's it going to be? What do you have to say to your future self?
Make sure you put the laundry away and you have an appointment on Friday.
That's it? Nothing like big picture?
No, that's just 3 days. You're crazy.
By the time this airs, you might miss your appointment on Friday. Just saying. It might be a little bit too late of an alarm.
Hope you went to that appointment earlier today, girly.
Like I don't have 17 alarms and notifications.
What else do we got? What are we saying to our future selves?
There's no stream right now. We don't have to wait.
Right. I am saying this week will come to an end because future me, the week will have come to an end, and that will be a lovely thing.
You're going to jinx it now. Now the week will never come to an end.
Oh, I didn't think I had that power. Thank you for telling me. Superpower unlocked.
Is it a superpower or a curse? Because that's what Magnus is. Every good thing comes with the bad thing. So let's get into our recap. Last session, our archivist began by descending into the tunnels underneath the shack, but Zander stayed behind and was struck by a vision. The interior of the shack was no longer a small space filled with bone chimes. Instead, the open door led to the vast interior of St. Catherine's Church that's built above the Institute. The church was decorated for a wedding with flowers along the pews, and a white tiered cake sat at the altar, a long knife embedded inside. And a voice told Zander that if he holds on to that knife, everything will be fine. Frieda and Lucian then woke Zander from his daze, questioning why he was holding a knife and where it came from, as they are in this tiny little shack. Moving into the tunnels, Naveen led first, and she fell victim to a trap. The tunnels led to a small living quarters inhabited by an angry old man who called himself Omicron. He threatened the group with a large cleaver, demanding that they leave, and Zander took his chance to use his new knife, stabbing Omicron, who responded by spitting black bile at the group. Emily pulled Zander away from him while the rest of the group focused on subduing the old man without causing him any more harm. And after somewhat calming down, Omicron said he was looking for a book called The Bone Turner's Tale, a book that is owned by Hans Donauer, who he claims stole it from Omicron. The archivist left the old man in his hole, and Lucian copied the ritual from the house to lock Omicron inside the shack. They then dug up Hans' grave nearby and found the book, The Bone Turner's Tale, leaving the old man to be rescued by paramedics and police. And then they began their return drive to Hamburg, where Lucian laid in the back of the van reading the book. And as he did, his bones began to pop, crack, and lengthen. We pick up an hour after that, where the group of you've parked your van in the parking garage nearby, just across the street from the Institute. You all pile out of the van. Lucian seems a little bit taller than he was before. As you are stretching, it's been a little bit of a trip. You see your manager, Ludwig, as he is walking to his car in the garage, and he notices you all. What excellent timing. How did the case go?
Yes, it went. We have completed it. We will finish up our reporting, but we have completed it. Unfortunately, he was in fact deceased, as he suspected that he would be by the time we got there. But we've got what we needed to.
And Ludwig, who's a rather short man, kind of like looks at the group and kind of like lingers a little bit longer on Lucian, looking up, maybe a little bit taller than I remembered, but he shrugs it off. Emily, may I speak with you for just a moment privately?
Yes, of course. And Emily's thinking to herself, like, how, assuming, like, how does he know? Has he, or, she's thinking about the, drawing weapons on each other and all of those things. Like, I didn't even, yes, of course. Yes, of course. And she immediately kind of steps over.
And he just walks a couple parking spaces down. This parking garage is empty, so it's not really that private, and sound kind of carries, but just a little bit further away from the group. The group, who I assume begins to scatter a little bit as you all start going home.
Sounds about right. Good jobs, everyone.
As we're leaving, Naveen is going to make the attempt to look as nondescript as possible and pull out her cell phone and text Frieda, can you meet me around back? And as casually as possible, without and making a real attempt to look as like nondescript as possible, we'll walk around back.
And I think we've established that Frieda's phone is on. The volume is because it's dinged before. So Naveen, you very discreetly send a text, and then Frieda, your phone, ding.
So, and she sees you texting, so she just kind of looks at you, and she'll check the text and just kind of nod.
Naveen doesn't look back at you. She doesn't acknowledge you.
Yeah. So yeah, but
it's very clear she's trying to make this discreet. Like, this is obviously not something she wants to be asked about.
And as the two of you begin walking towards the back of the parking garage, not too far from each other, but also not walking together. Naveen went first, and Frieda just following several steps behind. Ludwig turns to Emily. We all see much potential in you, so tell me, how was it being the team leader? Your first lead case?
Yes.
Were there any problems?
Well, as you know, when we are encountering the things that we encounter, it's always quite a stressful situation. But at the end of the day, we get the work done that we need to get done, and so we are then successful.
And you can tell Ludwig just kind of glazed over. Like he really wasn't worried about the case whatsoever. It's not his responsibility. And he was just, as long as you don't say anything bad happened, he wasn't really going to catch on to anything. And he just immediately moves right past. Sehr gut. One more thing. Please tell your gentlemen callers not to stop by the Institute. What you do on your own time, of course, is not my business. But they cannot be in the offices alone.
It's interesting that you mentioned that. All of the group of us have had a gentleman caller of sorts that has popped up.
I don't need any details.
No,
it's your personal life.
I don't think this is me. I think this is related to perhaps.
Well, he was sitting at your desk. He said he was waiting for you. He brought you flowers.
By any chance, and I am. Any chance was his name Mr. Mueller?
I did not catch his name. He seemed to be a very happy man. He was all smiles, even when I told him he must leave.
Oh, so from a security perspective, perhaps you should keep an eye. He is not a paramour of mine. He is someone who has popped
stalker. Up. Have you spoken to the police?
This was just, oh goodness, yesterday. All of us on the team had encounters with him in various times in the morning. So this is not by any means my personal life bleeding over. This has something to do with the work that we're doing. He appeared to all five of us.
But he said he wanted to speak with you specifically. You will need to file an HR report with Johanna.
Okay, and I'll go through a description of sort of what we had talked about with him and see if that matches.
And you can see that his eyes start to like glaze over a little bit again. Yes, it sounded similar.
Oh,
It does not matter what you do on your own time. Just make sure it does not interrupt work.
I want to make sure you're hearing me correctly. This could be a security concern for everyone here, including yourself.
I will tell Johanna not to admit him. All right.
Yes.
So I must be off. It is quite late.
Enjoy. Yes. Good evening. Have a good one.
And Ludwig goes off, checking his watch as he's going, and he goes off to his car. He did stay quite late. This is a lot later than he normally works. And you all know that he's normally pretty anxious to get home. Let's go ahead and cut to Naveen and Frieda as you two are behind the parking garage now. Naveen, you're only a couple steps ahead. What does this look like as you get to a more private spot?
So when we get there, Naveen knows this is super weird. So she turns around and at first she'll be like, I'm really sorry. And Naveen she's usually like really relaxed and usually like pretty easy in her body, but she looks like uncharacteristically stiff, and she's kind of like fidgeting with her earrings, and she looks like almost guilty. And like it everything about the energy is just is very off. And she kind of starts and she looks down, and she's a fair bit of hemming and hawing, and finally kind of gets it out. Okay, so I've kind of been going back and forth on this, and it feels really weird, like I'm like talking behind Lucian's back, but like if it was me, I'd want someone to say something, so I'm saying something. Yesterday doing research, I clapped his shoulder and he flinched, and I thought maybe I just hit him a little hard, but he then said that it hurt because he had carved numbers into himself. And when I asked about it, he said they just like show up in his head, and then he carves them into himself. And apparently this has happened more than once. And then he kind of took his shirt off and showed me, and there's just numbers, Frieda, just all over his chest and his torso, and some looked like really old and almost kind of healed, some looked fresh. And like it wasn't like messy and chaotic, like it was all like it made sense to him, like. And I mean, you know how he is. He's very like meticulous, and so it was pretty meticulous. And like he wasn't upset, and he wasn't trying to like shock me or anything. But like I don't think he's like wanting to harm himself or anything. But like cutting numbers into yourself that appear in your head is still like harm. And like maybe you already know, maybe that's just like how he is, but like I guess I just don't think that quiet always means fine. And like he matters, he's like brilliant, and he's like honestly one of the kindest people I know, and like kind of in a super like quiet way. Yeah. Like he like keeps hornets alive, and he'll like make sure Emily doesn't have like to deal with the bad smell or put the animals out of misery or like get us for a job. Like he's just anyway.
It's okay.
You love him, and that's why I wanted to tell you.
I appreciate you bringing your concerns to me. I am aware. Lucian, as you know, is brilliant, unfathomably intelligent, and he just gets numbers in a way that no one else does, and he has the potential to one day be one of the greats that people speak of. But kind of hand in hand is sort of this fanaticism, and we keep track of it as best as we can, but
like
we don't have a good relationship with our parents. They were very controlling, at least with me, to the point where it was stifling, and I choose not to have contact with them. And I don't want to be that person towards Lucian. I want to be an open door. He is an adult. He can make his own choices. But
as long as you know, Frieda,
it's important to leave doors open for people. Yep. He knows he can come over to eat at my place whenever. He has a bedroom there. He doesn't use it, but it's there. Yeah. So if you just want to be a friend, an ear, you can voice your concerns to him as well, but just be prepared that he might not like your concern.
As long as you know, that's the important thing. If you already know and he's already told you, and this is just something he does, and
I haven't seen anything in a long time, so I can't imagine where it is now, but
I just want to make sure that he matters to someone apart from himself.
No, I love him more than anything.
I know, and that's why I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to gossip behind his back or anything. I'm just...
Yeah. The best way to help is to also continue to be a friend and help me in being another just link in his support system.
As long as you know, like you said, he's an adult, he's brilliant, I'm sure.
I know it's not the answer you want.
As long as it's not my place. It's not my place. This felt like an overreach even just talking to you.
So. Yeah. I don't want to do something that closes that door where he can't trust me anymore.
Of course. Yeah. And if you're okay with that, I'd love for Naveen to just give Frieda a hug.
Yeah, she'd allow it. Yeah.
Sweet.
And we pan back to the other side of the parking garage now, where we'll rewind a little bit. For a few brief moments, Lucian and Zander, the best of friends who get along better than anyone else, were together by themselves at the van. Was there any acknowledgement, or do you simply just part ways now that your shift is over?
You're here late, Ludwig?
This would be while Ludwig was talking to Emily, but you could absolutely go over there and interrupt that if you'd like.
Oh, no, I'll catch him at the end of it. If he's taking, I don't know.
It was only a few minutes. So, yeah, after a little bit, you would see him checking his watch and walking away from Emily. Emily, who looked like she still had more to, impress upon him, but he seemed to be done with the conversation. Yes, Zander, did you need something?
I just seeing how you're doing.
I'm fine. Congratulations on the solved case. Emily said it went very well.
Thank you. Yes, she did very well.
Excellent. I will expect a report tomorrow.
Good night.
And Ludwig was already walking away, pulling himself away. Lucian, how about you? Zander just left you alone. What are you doing?
What has become of the knife that Zander was carrying around the farm?
He's still holding it, I believe. Right, Zander?
Yeah, I'm still in possession of it.
Are you holding it in your hand as you speak to Ludwig?
That's your call, Zander.
I'd have it tucked away by now. I think it's hidden.
I see. If that is the case, then Lucian will not think more on it for now. Since it is not visible to him, he will see that Zander has removed it from his hand, and therefore will not pursue the issue further.
And at this point, everyone parts ways and goes home or to their respective street that their Datsun is parked on. As the shift it comes to an end. A couple hours later, we see Zander in his apartment. Zander, do you have like a kitchen table or something like that where you would normally eat dinner or anything? Or are you the type of person that like eats on your couch?
Yeah, there's a counter to the kitchen.
With like a stool next to it, maybe?
Exactly.
So we see you sitting at the stool on the knife is laid out on the counter behind you. And behind you is this woman with skin as pale as the icing on a cake. And she walks around you. Her wide set eyes are partially hidden behind dark curls of hair. And you feel a hand trail from one shoulder to the next as she passes behind you. The thing to remember, honey, is that life, whether it's romance, your career, something simple like shoplifting, or something a little bit more complicated like maybe even murder, it's all about the hunt. The thrill, it's in the chase. Catching your prize, that's meaningless, babe. There's always another prize. But success, that's an illusion. There's no rest for predator or prey. So what's it going to be, honey? You going to be predator or are you going to be prey?
Staring at the knife on the countertop. Reach for it. Of course, the predator.
And with that, we pan back a little bit. We see you alone in your kitchen, just holding a knife at the counter, staring off into space. And you are now trained in tracking as a skill.
Ooh.
Wow.
Hell yes.
Get haunted by ghost woman, learn skills.
You hear just you've got your knife. We see that you're completely alone, but you still hear, you stick with me, babe. I'll teach you everything you need to know, and we're going to live deliciously.
Like the sound of that.
We cut out from there, and we cut to, we're going to do a little bit of a time jump here. Time has been going to move forward a little bit as you have solved that case and you go through some of the more mundane details. I'd like to have another scene with Lucian. Where would you be as you are flipping through a new book that you've got?
Lucian's preferred method for reading is to sit atop his Datsun cherry, usually in the evening, in an alleyway that cannot be observed by common onlookers and passers-by. He likes to have his night vision goggles on as well, because it's cool.
Is there like an indent in the top of your car where you're constantly sitting on top of it?
Lucian weighs like 24 pounds soaking wet, so probably not. But otherwise, yes, that makes sense. It is also roughly 30 years old. Because it is, what year is it? It is.
So it is 2025.
Oh,
it is present day.
It is 40 years old. So there are several dents across the entirety of the body.
Fantastic. And we have seen one transformation already take place. This one was more. It wasn't mechanical. It was just. Why is the word failing me? Just decorative.
Cosmetic.
There we go. Cosmetic. Thank you. But we're doing a time jump. This will be like the result of several sessions of reading and understanding this book. I believe you already took 3 stress upon realizing its power. You'll take 1 more stress from reading it again. what kind of transformation would you be trying to enact upon yourself this time, now that you fully understand what the book is capable of?
The book specifically focuses on the physical reshaping of the body. Yes. There is nothing beyond that. I see.
You could try to give yourself a bigger brain if that's what you would like. How much that would affect things, I don't know.
You are mocking me to a degree, but that is exactly what I was thinking. But
I'm not trying to, I swear.
I think he is very... Lucien is not a physical person. He is not concerned with strength or speed. These things mean nothing to him. However, there is... what he is looking for, perhaps, is surface area. As Naveen and Frieda's scene has suggested, Lucien sees his body as a canvas to place certain numerical quantities and equations that he has been gifted. So he is looking for more places to put that. So I think what he would be looking to do is trying to expand his torso to go along with his arms and legs. If this is over the course of a significant period of time, he would be doing so, if it is possible, in stages, so as not to alert Frieda or Naveen or Emily. Fuck Zander, he's probably not paying attention anyway. So
are you looking for a mechanical benefit from this, or do you still want it to be a cosmetic change?
I would like to discuss what possible mechanical benefits there could be for this.
It talks about being able to ease might-based tasks because of having additional muscle, or easing interaction roles because of uncanny physical symmetry, making yourself more beautiful, essentially. So essentially, it would count as like, it has to be fairly specific. It can't just be I'm better at fighting. But I think with reading this, you could absolutely give yourself a bigger brain to make like processing math eased, things like that, if you wanted. Or if you were just trying to go with just the torso could be a decorative change on top of shaping your brain. Or you could have like the might-based tasks are eased, like for lifting things or pushing things, with the bigger torso, something along those lines.
Would it be possible to get a speed-based bonus, perhaps, because of my long, elongated gait? I can traverse.
So like tasks involving running or running and jumping, essentially, like I think it would call athletics, I think would be the skill. We could say that you would end up being trained in athletics. Would that sound fair?
Yes. I think that sounds fair. The reason I say no to the brain is because Lucien would see that as a shortcut. He would not respect himself if he were to do so that way. So he sees the notion of the physical world and physical tasks that he must perform as a tedium. And using this would allow him to more easily complete those tasks in which he finds is so frustratingly annoying. So it leaves him time to pursue more naturally his studies.
All right. So this requires
awesome. I love it.
A difficulty 4 intellect-based roll. And I think occultism would count. I don't think much else would apply here.
Mathematics would not apply?
This book is really it doesn't require much mathematics. It's really about like the bone changing. I think either occultism or religion, because it's like Canterbury Tales. I think either one of those would work. I don't think both would, though.
I was reading the rules a bit after our discussions earlier this week. There's a maximum, I think, of how much you can reduce or ease.
Is there?
By number of skills. It could be based Cypher system, not Magnus. I'm not sure. I thought it was the maximum you could ease a task with skills is 2.
I could be wrong about that, but I didn't.
Interesting.
To be fair,
I could be wrong.
I have read about 17 different systems in the past 7 days, so it's possible I could get this confused.
Can confirm.
But I will take it. No, I will definitely.
I'll do more research on
No, it's perfectly fine. Okay, so could you remind me of the difficulty once more, please?
4 ease to 3.
Okay, I will put effort into this, if that is all right.
Yes, it is.
So for me, since I have an edge in intellect because I am so intelligent, it will only require 2. And then equipment. Oh, goodness. Looking at my abilities. There is... What we have... we wouldn't have regained.
You would have had... I suppose you were reading. You would have been able to take a moment, take an hour or something to... We're doing a time jump, actually. You would have regained your points. Absolutely.
Well, could we say that in the process of this, my understanding ability could come into play? It is... I think it's the same as Naveen's. I observe or study a creature. I'm studying this book for an elongated period. My next interaction with that creature or object gains 1 asset.
Absolutely. That sounds perfect.
I think that would take me to 2 total, and I believe that as far as I can go.
Unless you spend the points, which would be down to 1. So your skill, your understanding, your effort would be 3 eases from a difficulty of 4 down to 1.
Yes, I will do that. Excellent. I want to succeed, but I will probably roll a 2, because that is the most common number, which I find very peculiar. But nonetheless, I rolled a 1. I was mistaken.
You rolled a 1. Good gosh.
Right, this is a GM intrusion.
This game does not like me. It's fine.
You can spend an XP to reroll.
Oh.
No,
hey.
I give it to me. Hurt me.
Okay.
This is a horror game. Make it horrifying.
You're trying to expand your torso. You tell me how this goes wrong. Like, does it like become overly large? Do you actually accidentally shrink yourself? It's going to have a temporary effect here. The book says if you fail, then it's a 10-hour effect. I think with the intrusion, we'll say it lasts a week because we're doing a time jump anyways.
I would like to think that his spine becomes twisted. And so it's sort of like a temporary spinal ordeal where he almost moves around as if he has a hunchback. And it is quite painful, not that Lucian pays attention to pain, but it is nonetheless very painful and distracting to his studies. Would that be sufficient?
I love that. So then let's dig into some of the more effects here. Do you skip work for that week that this happens? Do you still go into the Institute?
Yes, I do. I go to work, I should say. You asked me. Lucian does not hide things. He is not a secretive man. He has no care for if people see it, they see it. That's why he had no issues showing Naveen where he has carved himself. So he would go. Yes.
All right. So we will open up at, this has been about, we'll say it's been about 2 months since the last case here. And the day is just starting. It's bright and early in the morning. We'll say it's a Monday. So Emily has brought in flowers, fresh flowers to brighten up this institute that is normally a very drab place, but it's actually gotten a makeover. So with all of the water damage, Ludwig was able to leverage the repair money into an actual renovation. So no longer are you in this drab concrete hole in the ground. There are plaster walls that have been put up that hide the electrical conduit. There's a drop tile ceiling, so you no longer see the utilities in the waters up above. There is a pastel green carpet that's been laid down, so you're not walking on concrete anymore. It looks very corporate now. Compared to just what looked sort of like a garage or a bunker, now it seems a little bit more livable. You still have to go down into this deep, dark basement, and it's still this very artificial lighting. You can hear the hum of the lights above you all day long now with these new lights, but it looks a little bit more pleasant. We'll say, Lucian, you tend to be late to arrive to work anyways. Am I correct in that? Or am I wrong?
That is for you to decide. Lucian does not subscribe to the idea of punching a clock.
That sounds like a yes. That sounds very much like a yes.
Often he is here at very odd hours as well, so he is more salary than he is hourly.
So Frieda, Naveen, Emily, Zander, you are still, the cubicles are still clustered in the center of the Institute here. There are still a couple tables along the side walls that house places for taking pictures of evidence. There's the little coffee table and just odds and ends. And then there's the back rooms that archive all of the statements as well. But the four of you are in these 6 cubicles, one that's just empty right now, often used for storage of whatever current files people are going through. Lucian's cubicle is empty right now too. Not too surprising. It's only 8:15. So the day starts at 8. And then Lucian, describe what you look like now again as you enter.
Yes, Lucian comes in with his usual black attire, but he is not wearing his shoes. He instead has them tied around his neck like he's wearing a necklace, because his posture is such that he seems to be in a constant state of twist, like his right shoulder is leaning down towards his left foot, and he is leaning forward as well. And anyone who can see his feet will notice that his right foot, as a result, is sort of carved and turned, and he's much more like dragging it as he goes. He is not wincing at all, but he is clearly in some discomfort. He looks as though, comically speaking, he was hit by a bus and survived.
And all of your attention would be drawn to this as the door opens. The outside office, the waiting room where Johanna, the administrator, has her desk. Lucian, what has happened to you? You look like you were hit by a bus.
Do you know that I was not?
Well, I would hope so. Are you okay?
A very broad question. Are you okay? Is anyone okay? These questions need to be more specific and poignant if you expect me to answer them with any amount of accuracy.
And Johanna, in her normal grouchy attitude, you're fine. And she just immediately goes back down to her desk. The rest of you see Lucian very twisted and mangled as he's pulling himself into these offices. How do you respond?
So Frieda is like not really looking at first, and she's already saying hello, and then she turns and you just hear as she gasps as she's like, Lucian, are you okay?
Why is everyone asking me these questions? Are you okay, Frieda?
I mean, most days, yes. Are you in pain?
Of course I am.
Shoulder? Should we go to the hospital? Why didn't you?
Of course we should not.
Oh, okay.
Why do you continue to ask questions to which you already know the answers? Do I look as though I am okay?
No, but this is concerned.
Do I look
Lucian.
as though I am in pain?
It's hard to tell with you.
Do I enjoy going to the hospital?
No, you do not.
Dear sister, you knew the answers to these questions already.
Yeah, you're right.
What is this commotion today? Oh God, Lucian. Are you okay?
Lucian is fine. I have not ascended to godhood yet. Am I okay? Are you okay, Zander? Have you stolen any knives and threatened to stab the sisters of your co-workers recently? Or have you moved beyond that passing fancy?
No such thing.
Lucian, you seem longer, taller. Is this true?
It is true, yes. Although my current twisted shape might not give a proper and accurate estimation of my current size. But yes, you are very perceptive, Emily. I can see why they are training you to replace Zander.
This is something that you are undertaking these changes willingly?
Yes, of course.
Did something go awry?
Again, you are very perceptive, but I must also point out that if you think that this end state was intentional, suggesting that it is exactly what I intended, then that would be a very peculiar presumption on your part. No one looks like this intentionally. So yes, my calculations were off.
Well, certainly not much for calculating, but if any of us could do anything to assist you or perhaps ease physical discomfort, ibuprofen perhaps. We're happy to help.
Ibuprofen. Yes, I would accept such a thing. If there is perhaps something stronger, I would also accept that as well.
Okay,
does anyone have morphine? That would be preferable.
Emily's walking over to like the first aid kit, like the corporate office building first aid kit, and she kind of like looks at it.
Is there morphine in there?
There does not. There is acetaminophen and there is ibuprofen. You have a choice. Both claim to be extra strength.
I will take both. Thank you.
And she'll just pull them out of the little thing and kind of close it back up and give you like multiple of the little like 2-packs that they have and kind of give them over.
He will take all of them dry. He will not get water. He will drink it. He will just swallow it like a psychopath.
I think you're supposed to alternate, take the ibuprofen and then a few hours later take the acetaminophen and then or all at once. Oh, that's an option. She's sort of like looking to Frieda.
Do not let Big Pharma try to tell you what you should do.
Yes. I brought, and she just pointing to kind of the flowers. And before Lucian had come in, she was very much like lowering her voice, complaining about how this place looks. Because like, Stephen, you were kind of describing it as looking more corporate. And this is like not Emily's vibe at all. And so she's sort of like to the other three was kind of like, I mean, it's not that I'm not appreciative, but pale green carpet when we had lovely polished concrete, and why was that a choice? And this is not, it didn't like water damage, but this is depressing almost, right? I suppose I shouldn't complain about new things, but I'll just have to bring more flowers. I'll do Mondays and Wednesdays, and that'll help. That's what I will do. Pops of color.
And apparently no one else agrees with your
We
assessment.
could probably get some
I just clocked that she was like talking to Naveen. I thought she was still talking to Lucian.
Oh no, this is before he came in. That's sort of what she had stopped talking about. Where she was just sort of like low whispering of like, I mean, we don't want to complain about brand new things, but also,
and if Naveen's in earshot when you say that, she'll agree with your assessment and say, "Oh, I always love your Monday flowers. I would love to see them on Wednesdays and Fridays."
Well, thank you. I just have to get more color, just green, like just it's the same like blue green that you just see everywhere and all of the.
That's why I love your flowers. They really brighten up the place.
Purples and reds, and yes, that is what, and probably that was the conversation that Lucian sort of like walked into.
Zander, let me cut to you for a second. Give me an intellect save. going to be difficulty 4.
Okay, and then my defense is inability, so it makes it 5. I'll go ahead and spend 3 intellect to make it 4 again.
All right.
Rolled a 17.
All right. Fantastic success. So currently today, this woman that you've been hearing, you're not seeing her. She's not been talking to you. You still do feel compelled to carry that knife with you, but you're in control of yourself right now. Would you say you have left it in your apartment, or would you have it on you?
Yeah, I'd have it on me. I'd have it inside like a coat, hidden away. So
Do you
I
have
felt
like an inside pocket where you've been keeping it?
Yeah, just having it wrapped up, kept away, because I felt like it still needed to be on me.
All right, fair enough. How often do you feel the need to like go check on it? Like, are you wearing your coat at all times? Do you ever set it like on the back of your chair?
Saying that I succeeded on the intellect, I'd say not too often today. I left it unchecked. It's just sitting in the coat.
All right. And as we see Lucian take his seat at his desk, trying to find a way to sit down in a more comfortable way, but he's so twisted that he's just kind of like leaning off to the side of the chair. Ludwig comes out of his office. All right, team. All right. Oh, Lucian, are you okay?
We have established that he is as okay as can be, and hospital care is not needed at this time.
Are you sure? You look awful.
It's temporary and it will get better soon.
Yes, when you hit 30, you sleep the wrong way, and okay. Well, all hands meeting. No, Johanna, you can stay put. And she didn't even get up. So everyone, attention. Well, he gestures around to the ceiling, the carpet. What do you think? It's quite an upgrade, yes?
It's quite nice.
Brand new.
Enthusiasm is fantastic. Thank you very much.
Great work.
Unfortunately, we have not left the past entirely behind us. The specter of Harlock remains. Frieda, and he gestures towards you, you've been unable to remember most or any, really, of Ms. Harlock's statements. As such, this case will now be led by Zander. And he just is like a mild applause for himself that, like, I assume none of you join in. All right. Any questions?
Very logic. Frieda's work.
What was that? I did not hear.
Just saying Frieda's work, really.
Well, she has not been able to compile the statement, so yes, it falls upon you. We are a team, and we pick up each other's slack.
And like, right. Frieda is obviously just like biting the inside of her cheek to just stop from saying something and like walking out.
All right, this is the end of the meeting. Frieda, this arrived for you, and he goes. He pulls out from his jacket pocket a letter. I trust you will share it with everyone, and he hands it to you. And as you go to grab it, he doesn't quite let go. For a moment, you look down and you see that it is addressed to you, and it's sent from Miss Shirley Harlock. He looks at you and then finally lets it go.
Yes, if it's pertinent. Yes, of course.
Well, I assume it would be pertinent, and it should be shared with the new case leader.
Yes, sir.
And you see it is not opened yet.
which is surprising to her. She presumes that he would have already like opened it. And she'll go back to her cubicle and just open the letter.
All right. And we will, we got to have a little statement to be read every now and then. This is Magnus, right? So let me go ahead and show you all this. And it reads, Frieda, if you're reading this, then I've been gone for a full year. Before I left, I composed a statement and hid it underneath your desk. It documents my entire investigation up until this point, but I have omitted my own personal history. As you know, my mother was American and met my father in Berlin. Her uncle, Philip Harlock, was known to be an eccentric recluse. He developed an obsession for the supernatural that drove him to paranoia, claiming that he was being watched at all times by various entities. My mother never spoke of him much, as she hardly knew him. I was told he never left his house for family gatherings or even to run errands until one day he was simply gone. No one knows where he went, but the authorities found no sign of foul play in his house. As an adult already known for eccentric behavior, there was no real search for him. His house was boarded up and sat empty for years. Apparently, it became a popular hangout for local children until there was an accident at the house. A child went missing and other children were hurt. Side note, I have included that story in my statement under your desk. The house was demolished soon after. What few possessions he had were sent to my mother, and then to me when she passed away. He kept dozens of journals, hundreds of entries with no discernible order to them. It appeared that he chose pages at random to record his thoughts of the day. Organizing them was no easy task and was made more difficult by the fact that many pages were missing, ripped from the books. Anyone else would have abandoned the task long ago, but as an archivist, I felt a responsibility to my family. At first, sorting the journals was a hobby, but like my uncle, I developed an obsession. There was a hidden logic to his ramblings about a nexus he called the lacuna. He described it as a metaphysical void outside of time and space, embodied in our world by an infinitely faceted crystal. And then I learned of Dr. Malloy's connection to Philip. Before he became the honeymoon killer, he was a child involved in the accident at my great-uncle's house. Those children, decades after his disappearance, reported seeing a large crystal floating on a stand described exactly as my great-uncle envisioned it in his journals. Side note, see my statement for details on my interview with Dr. Malloy. This will sound ludicrous now, but once you read my statement, you'll understand I'm not crazy. There is a chance that the missing child, Rowan Johnson, is still alive and lost in that nexus. I'm going to try and get him out. Hopefully I'll return soon and you'll never have to read this letter or my statement. If you are reading this letter, please archive my story. Someone needs to know the truth. Signed, Shirley Harlock. P.S. Of late, I've repeatedly seen a strangely happy man. He never stops smiling. Even now, alone in my office, it feels like he's watching me. I cannot help but wonder if he's the same entity that my uncle feared so greatly.
Okay. And at that, she kind of will stand and she'll approach Ludwig and she'll kind of point out the beginning part of it where it says, she admits to, oh, cool, the letter. Before I left, I composed a statement and hid it under your desk. And to obviously I wasn't aware of this statement. And then at the end where she says, you wouldn't know about this until you get this letter. Hopefully you don't have to read this kind of thing.
Yes, the details, I'm sure that Zander will get them ironed out. You can file
this is confirming that I did not intentionally keep information from you. I did not mishandle this statement because it was hidden from me.
Oh, I would never accuse someone of intentionally lying. No. I assumed it was a mistake, of course.
Okay.
Which is very different from what he said when he first accused you months ago.
Uh-huh.
You mean the direct accusation wasn't a direct accusation?
Yeah, the direct accusation that she has recorded and definitely has saved on file. Okay. And she just kind of shakes her head. All right, well, now that has cleared, Zander, we have some work to do.
Miss Dürer, I know Ludwig says I should take this case, but I would trust you on this. You can keep the case. This is hard luck. I want nothing to do with her. I thought she was gone. This will be good reputation for Ludwig here.
We'll be working on it all together, but I will compile, yes.
So, Frieda, then, what do we think our first steps should be then?
Well, so she's gone over it with you guys like a little bit before, but she will again like pull out and say the water damage did get to the original statement that she had under my desk, and it's barely legible. I don't really have any of that information. I did do some looking up on Hamburg Prison Hospital in the psychiatric ward. I think our first interest is, speaking with Dr. Malloy and trying to figure out like what they were discussing, because we don't have her statement. But now that we have this letter, there's a lot more information that we can look into.
Is the letter something you are sharing?
Oh yeah, she will.
Okay.
She'll like pass that around so everybody can give it a read.
So, Naveen specifically, when she gets a hold of that letter, she kind of stops and clearly she's rereading a section, and she kind of stops and she's like, I saw a multifaceted crystal the other night. I thought it was just too much to drink at the club, but I saw a multifaceted crystal the other night.
Okay. It also talks about a strangely happy man that never stops smiling. And we've all seen him as well.
We have, which reminds me, and Emily wants to go over to our administrative woman, and I trust that we haven't had any further visits from Mr. Mueller, and she would have immediately filed sort of the paperwork after the last statement.
Ah, that's best. No, I've not seen the man. I would have chased him off immediately.
Good to know. Good to know. This is, he seems to be coming up everywhere, and it's very concerning as to why he keeps appearing. You don't recall anything additional about him? Ludwig really didn't have many details other than assuming that he was a paramour of mine, which was a rude assumption.
I had gone home for the evening. I was not even in the office.
Oh, well, it's better that you weren't here when he was here. Then I'm glad for that.
Why, you think he is dangerous?
He is quite creepy, if nothing else, but he has appeared almost simultaneously to all of us on the team. And while his visage is friendly, he may be anything but.
Well, not to worry. And she pats one of the handles of the drawer on her desk. I have something I will be able to take care of myself.
Oh, good. Thank you. And she'll kind of come back out, and it doesn't appear that he's shown back up here since his appearance to Ludwig several weeks ago. Do we think we might need to travel all the way to the United States, or do we think we would have enough here?
The home was in Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
It's a possible site.
Was boarded up and sat empty for years. It became a popular hangout for local children until there was an accident at the house. I feel like we need to look into Rowan Johnson. We need to look into the house. or
It
the
does
house was
say there that
demolished.
The house was demolished.
Yeah. The few possessions that were sent to her mother and then her, so we could try and go to Shirley Harlock's residence to see if she has the journals.
Yes, that very good point.
And if you guys have any other things that you've seen, I'm still skimming through.
This word lacuna. Has it come up anywhere?
You know, I haven't searched for that in the archives. I did search for the doctor, what was his name? Malloy. And there wasn't really much within the archives, but that would definitely be good to search for.
Yeah, Dr. Malloy, you found newspaper coverage, but there was no statements about him.
Yeah.
Naveen, perhaps we should also cross-reference any other references to this crystal that you saw and that was referenced here as well.
Oh, well, it wasn't at like an actual club. It was like this warehouse that was a club that night. So, I mean, I can take us there, but I really don't think it'll be the same place as it was.
That makes sense. Perhaps we can just look through archives and just cross-reference any other references to a crystal.
It's a good idea.
All right, so let's get some tasks divided up. It sounds like you want to search about the crystal. You want to search a bit more about Harlock himself, not your archivist, but her great uncle. And it also sounds like you wanted to learn more about Dr. Malloy. Would anyone like to head up some of those tasks?
I'll support on the talky part of it, which is the interrogation. So whoever's leading
someone
on
already.
that.
All right, we're getting aggressive.
Whoever's leading on that, because I have like train skills and like friendly help, so
Absolutely.
I can support well.
What about everyone else?
Lutzin will be interested in the crystal lacuna, the metaphysical nature of this thing.
Fantastic. Where do you want to start researching that? Are you going to be like checking your archives, checking online?
I think first he will check the archives for any references to the word lacuna or any other case files involving crystals. That would be a good place to start. He is also interested. He knows that the house was demolished, but if we're speaking of the metaphysical, then why would we concern ourselves with the physical house, but rather its various location in space-time? It could be something more. So he would be very curious about documenting what has been erected in absence of this house and whether there have been any peculiar reported stories, either local newspapers or if we have access to them, police files, police reports, that sort of thing.
All right. So you're going to research specifically the kuna, the word, and then dig into the property itself.
Yes.
What about Frieda, Emily, or Zander?
Emily can tag team, I would say. Some of the crystal lacuna stuff.
All right, we are shipping Emily and Lucian. Get it, Emily ship.
I also have like occultism and identifying stuff, so my skills kind of overlap a bit with those things.
No, that works great. Frieda, Zander, what do you two want to pursue?
Try to find these journal entries, locate that down by locations that they've been passed to, possibly hunt those down.
Okay.
I think Frieda would go with you to Shirley Harlock's residence then.
Okay. So no one is actually going up for Dr. Malloy then except Naveen by herself, or Naveen, do you want to pair off with someone?
I thought I was going with somebody else, but I'm fine to go alone.
Okay.
Well, do you want to do that now, or do you want to continue doing some pre-research before we go interrogate him?
We can do some research. That's fine. So
We can be fluid about it too.
I'm much more like physically suited for stuff. Or well, actually, the only thing I'm like really mechanic good at is like basic shit. So it's really who wants to friendly up? Is it you guys or like the other two? Because functionally, I don't know that there's a difference. Otherwise.
No, you've got good ideas. Whatever you want to do.
Let's if you're gonna pair off with them, we'll be fluid with Dr. Malloy. And let's start with Lucian and Emily then. The first thing you do is that you're putting in the word the CUNA in your archives search database. Not everything in your archives is digitized, but there's a good amount of researchers here working, and that tends to be one of the things you do in between following up cases. So you have most everything digitized. If a statement is not fully digitized, someone's gone through and they've like assigned keywords to that statement. The CUNA does come up for a single statement. However, the case itself has nothing to do with the crystal. It's about a book called the Ex Altiora, which is a Latin book with faded gold letters on the spine. There were some very strange visions that someone had after reading this book, and the book itself disappeared, but there is a scanned copy that has been sent to the archives. This is not the physical copy, but you can scroll through. And it's essentially it's written entirely in Latin, and it's a long poem in the style of Virgil, and it recounts a monstrous creature approaching an unnamed village on a cliff edge. The creature is so vast that its head and upper body are lost among the clouds, and in the end, unable to deny the creature's impossible vastness, the villagers hurl themselves from the cliff onto the rocks far below. The CUNA comes up as a word in this poem a couple times. It's referenced as part of the nothingness that this creature came from. Essentially, it sprung into being from a void, and it was so vast that it became a void itself in a way, that it was just incomprehensibly vast.
Lucian, this is interesting reading here with the void and more void. Not sure. Doesn't have anything to do with the crystal.
Question. The children, there were references to children.
Yes.
That they referenced the crystals themselves, correct? They said they testified as seeing a floating crystal in the home, yes?
Yes.
And there is at least one missing child still, Rowan, correct?
Yes. So we'll say that Emily was looking up the CUNA and reading this Ex Altiora while you were going through news reports for the property, which you said you wanted to go after anyways.
Yes.
This property is located in Maine, United States. It is a good distance away. You can do a quick Google search and get a satellite image of the property. It is just an empty lot at this point. There's just grass growing over it. You find news reports from 2001. This was 24 years ago when this accident happened. None of the children are named. It was very difficult to find this because you had to cross-reference a lot of things. But the article does come up as calling it the old Harlock house. apparently these children, they scared themselves. They had a sort of mass hysteria is what is reported by this local news reporting. So the details are rather sparse. Children are not named whatsoever. It does say one child is missing. And the actual news report that you're finding right now, this 24 years old, it's a news report that was brought online or digitized later, does not mention the crystal itself.
I see. Well then, there's nothing. Perhaps if it is if this is more than just metaphor, it is another state, perhaps, or another some sort of pocket universe of a sort. Perhaps this Rowan has found his way into it, if you believe that sort of thing, and that it was not much more simply a strange and terrible person committed a terrible crime.
I wonder if we might have access to somewhere where, when they have the television shows where someone goes missing as a child and they show the picture of what they might look like 25 years later. I wonder if anyone has done anything like that with Rowan anywhere, if that is still treated in the United States as a cold case, that there might be a picture of what he would look like as an adult, perhaps. I would be curious about that.
True crime is very popular nowadays. Let's go ahead and get a roll for this. It's going to be an intellect roll, difficulty 4. If Lucian, you have both been working on this together. If you're doing this search into like true crime stuff together, then that would ease it by 1, along with any other skills you have.
Certainly. Am I doing the roll? Did I?
Either one of you can make the roll. Whoever wants to do it.
Do you have researching? I have researching.
I don't have researching. I have identifying. I am trained in that.
I think researching would be more applicable, but identifying, you could argue for it. Yeah.
Okay, and we've reset everything, right? Because time has passed.
Yes.
So
good point. So all stress has been reset back down to 0. All your points are back up to max.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. I don't believe that you are likely to spend time on such true crime drivel, but I do think your researching skills, Lucian, would be well suited with this.
Yes, true crime is the dominion of the truly insane. They wish to harbor these theories, not for the pursuit of truth, but instead for entertainment. It is quite disgusting, and society's obsession with it is perhaps even more so. But yes, I will look into this true crime. Perhaps there is a podcast or something.
Frieda's walking by and she's just like, oh shit. Like,
1 point of order to Lucian. You actually would still have 4 points of stress, 1 from reading the book and 3 from the failed change. So that would put you at a level 1 of stress, so all your tasks would be 1 difficulty higher. So you guys can decide that. It's still either one of you can roll.
So Lucian can help Emily with the research, right?
Sure.
With the researching skill.
Yeah. So we can call identifying.
I have a disdain for this. I don't.
No. Yeah. I'll. Okay. So I will spend. I've got an edge intellect, so I will spend 2 to ease that 1, and I rolled a 1. What is this?
What is this?
I'm gonna spend XP.
yeah.
Okay. Spend an XP for a reroll.
Yes, I am in fact going to do that. Oh, I probably should have. Oh no, that's something different. Okay, I'm gonna try that again. It's much better. 17. So
right.
we have only rolled 1s or 17s tonight. That's all the Founder's given us.
So let's say you do a deep dive, specifically tying Rowan Johnson along with Harlock House gets you a lot more information in like the deep web. You have to go past all the actual news articles because they all repeat the same things that everything else says. But once you put those keywords in and you start combining them, you scroll past the first couple pages of Google, you find this internet forum that is just dedicated.
That? Going past the first page.
And this forum is just entirely populated by enthusiasts, and each one has their own focus or their own passion, I guess, their own obsession of an article. And one long thread is this person who just continually posts about Rowan Johnson, and not just Rowan Johnson, but his sister Stephanie, and their friends Wayne Culver and Dr. Harold Malloy and Jimmy Carandini. And all of these people, of those 5 names, only one of them has whereabouts currently known, and that is because they are locked up in a Berlin prison hospital. Rowan Johnson, you find, like you said, you wanted to see what they would look like aged. There was some program that looks like it. They looked fairly nondescript. Just the picture you have of this child is of the last night he was seen, where he was just a chubby little kid wearing a Woody costume from Toy Story, and they kind of like age it up as best they can, but it's got that like blurriness that like the AI puts on it. So it's fairly nondescript. It's nothing that like no one that you've recognized or anything like that. You find other articles about Stephanie Johnson, about how she had actually been kidnapped as a child before she was rescued. Her mom started a blog about her, a newsletter essentially depicting her day-to-day life until Rowan was captured, or not captured, went missing. And then the newsletter fell apart because the mom lost all credibility for losing a couple children. Apparently, Stephanie Johnson, Wayne Culver, Dr. Malloy, and James Carandini, they became fast friends all throughout adulthood until about 4 years ago. Most of them went missing. Apparently, they went on a trip, and Dr. Malloy was the only one who came back. And it is assumed that Dr. Malloy killed his friends, and that was the beginning of his murder spree. He then went across the world, became the honeymoon killer, where he would... you got something, Ashley?
Are these our characters from The Darkest House?
What are you talking about?
Stephanie Johnson?
Oh.
What do you mean? So Dr. Malloy began murdering people on their wedding night all across the world, and eventually was captured in Berlin. Any other questions you got?
No, I think Emily is just sort of so this just, I mean, internet forums and all of that, perhaps this is just a fantastical story, but 2 children, one child kidnapped and returned, another child went missing, and then children who went through this experience stay friends and travel and then disappear again?
Have you ever read the Stephen King book, It?
I have not. I've seen the movie.
Well, the most recent movie was somewhat acceptable, but yeah. Anyhow, the point is that it was a story about a group of children who had a supernatural experience as children, and they remain connected throughout the course of their lives. Have you read the comic book Die by Kieran Gillen with art by Stephanie Hans? Also very interesting. That was about a group of children who played a tabletop role-playing game together, and through some sort of supernatural experience disappeared for years, only to return except for one. And then, years later, there was a secondary incident as well. The point is that there seems to be a preponderance of these sorts of stories across literature. It's either something greater, perhaps something driving these, or it is just derivative storytelling. We have not yet determined what that is.
It's derivative.
It does. It does. It does
Oh, and have you
seem.
watched Stranger Things? That is another one, kind of similar, but only one of the children are missing. But it was the first season, and they sort of forgot about it. And the actors aged out. I'm still waiting the final season. Any day now.
Yeah. Well, yes. All of that is very. Those are good examples of. And perhaps these individuals in the forum, I imagine, have probably read or seen almost all of those things. It does seem the Venn diagram of folks who write in those forums and the folks that have consumed that media is probably overlapping quite a bit. But it seems that interview with Dr. Malloy will hopefully be very enlightening.
Certainly. It seems to be pointing in his direction. He seems to be the linchpin with the information.
All right, we'll cut to Frieda, Naveen, and Zander, as we'll say that you took a little field trip out of the offices to go to Miss Harlock's old flat. It wasn't too far away. Maybe, Frieda, you were fairly close to her. Maybe you've been there before. You are able to just take a couple buses to get there. You have to go over a couple bridges, a couple canals, and you reach the apartment. You can see the names listed for each unit, and you see like the third floor unit that she was on does not have the Harlock name on it anymore.
Okay. We'll check. Like, is the super listed on there, or the landlord?
I don't know if it would list like a landlord, but you could like just hit like any
call button.
other apartment if you want it. So call maybe her unit itself. And you get yes. Who is it?
Hi, my name is Frieda Dürer, and I'm here to I'm seeking a Shirley Harlock.
No. She moved. I do not know Vin. I have lived here for about 4 months now. I still get her mail.
Did she leave anything behind?
I do not know. The apartment was empty when I moved in.
Okay. Can you give me the information for the landlord who may have emptied her apartment, or a forwarding address?
Yes. In 1 moment. And it goes for a little bit, and then you hear a buzz again. And she gives you a phone number to call.
Okay.
Naveen is going to say to Frieda in the meanwhile, while this person's away, I'll see if we can just go up and get the mail.
Yes, you said you were receiving her mail. Could we also receive that to see if there's...
I do not know if I should give someone else's mail away.
She works at the Magnus Institute, and we're from the Magnus Institute.
Let's get a persuasion roll here. This is going to be intellect. It'll be difficulty 3.
Can I preemptively say that I tried to help?
How are you helping?
I suggested the idea to...
maybe she talks over me.
Over that.
You could talk over, like you could talk into the intercom too.
Yeah, okay, then I'll say it, because I was going to say exactly what Frieda just said, which is that we work with her and we'll just hand it over to her.
Okay, so that eases it to difficulty 2 then.
Okay, and you said just a straight intellect roll?
Yes.
Okay.
If you have any other skills that can ease it, or you can spend effort to ease it as well by spending points.
Oh, I don't think I have anything that helps.
Let you roll if you fail.
Yeah, I'm just going to rip it. So it's 3, right?
Difficulty 2, which means you need a 6 or higher.
Okay.
Why do these keep happening?
Why?
So
what
that was
is
another
wrong
1.
with Ford?
Dude.
But I can re-roll because of
you get a reroll.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
really?
staring at it
That's
this time.
3-1.
Work.
3 ones.
Beats difficulty 3.
Crazy.
How often has that
9.
reroll come in clutch, though?
It's the best.
Dude. I feel so bad.
Jeez.
I've got no control over it. I'm sorry.
No.
I'll just delete the game and we'll start a new one. So
this is the
success
only
with the
game
gnome.
where I don't roll badly because I don't
You don't
really
roll.
It's just the other people roll.
That's the problem. The luck is being distributed.
That's the way to do it.
All right, Frieda, you are able to convince her. Okay, yes, I suppose if you are coworkers, and she comes down and she gives you mail along with the number of the landlord, and all of these, this whole stack of mail. It goes back several months, and it's all bills past due.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. Sorry for the inconvenience.
No.
Naveen's gonna go through all the letters to see if there's anything in here that isn't a bill.
Not in front of this lady, though.
No, not after we take her life.
It doesn't take long to cycle through them. Most of them are utilities. Some of them are from the landlord themselves. Like they go back a while. Like they've been sent to try and recollect. It's an automated billing process, essentially. There's nothing like personal of any sort of note there. But
No,
it
like
appears that Harlock left and made no real preparation for how her bills would be paid or anything like that. She did not move out of her apartment. She did not sell her vehicle or anything like that.
Well, there's no like bill for like a storage unit or anything like that.
No, there is not.
Okay, you know us in storage units.
It does not exist.
I might knock on some of the neighbors while they're collecting mail and see if they know Harlock at all. Where she went.
Yeah, so like the person came and actually handed you the mail, so maybe you put your foot in the door at the very last second so you guys can get in. Let's get an intellect test here to see if you're successful. I think this would be difficulty 3 as well. Any sort of like persuasion or investigation, I think, could ease this. What was that?
You could use the knife as well.
I've got intimidation.
Intimidation? That could work if you're pretty aggressive. That works. So difficulty 2.
I have a inability and intellect defense, so
that's only defense. This is not defense.
Okay. Cool.
Roll 15. You see, you guys can roll well. So we'll say you knock on a door and you get this older teenager, like a 17, 18 something. Yes, what do you want? This boy is like very lanky, very shaggy hair, looks greasy, like he hasn't showered in a while.
Hello. Do you know a Shirley Harlock, your neighbor?
Yes, she used to live just down the hall.
Where is she?
I don't know. She left. She's very nice.
When did she? She owes money.
Okay, Okay?
When did she leave?
What was that? I'm sorry, my earbud cut out.
When did she leave?
Oh, maybe a year ago? She didn't say goodbye.
Nobody knows? She didn't say anybody?
No one I talked to. I know most of the people on the floor. No one said anything. Everyone liked her. She was nice. Very friendly.
Then I will get out of your way.
Yeah, you know what? The storage in the basement, I think she might have had some things down there?
Thank you, boy.
And he closes the door. You hear him lock afterwards because you were using intimidation.
Frieda, Naveen, there's the basement.
Oh, perfect.
You can find the door to the basement, and it goes down. It's open access there, but you see that there are several like compartments that are just like chain link fence, and each of them have like their own like not like a padlock to them. Most of them are combination numbers or something like that.
I think Frieda would go through because she's been here before to see Shirley to see if she recognizes any of Shirley's things.
Okay. So you go through. You wouldn't see any personal items, but we'll say you got the successful rolls already. There's no reason to lock this behind another roll. You do go through, and there's one cage that is mostly empty, and you see there are 3 like banker's boxes, the cardboard boxes specifically for holding files and books and stuff like that. And it specifically says it's labeled P. Harlock.
Okay. We could go about it the right way and ask the landlord, or
If he wants to wait, but we are here. I can get us in.
and she kind of said that hoping Zander would just be like, let me get in this bitch. So she steps aside.
Lucian threw these bolt cutters away at the farm. I will use them.
Xander's holding on to Lucian's bolt cutters.
Oh no. If Frieda, immediate mental note, needs to get Lucian new bolt cutters, or this will cause a problem.
Let's get a roll. It's going to be a might check, specifically to be able to break through this without causing too much damage or noise or a scene. We'll say difficulty 3 again.
That's what the bolt cutters are.
The
That
bolt
eased
cutters
already.
can ease it by 1 to difficulty 2.
Okay. Roll 7.
7. All right. Beats difficulty 2. So very quickly, you snap the bolt cutters down. The lock is like, it's like a school locker combination lock. It's not that heavy duty. You're able to break it apart. The chain link fence swings open, very greasy and or very rusty and squeaky. Like it's not been opened in some time. There's nothing else in this cage but these 3 banker's boxes. As you lift off the lid, you see that there are just collections of just reams of paper, journals of various sizes. Some of them are like the composition notebooks. Some of them are a little bit nicer. Some of them are just pages that look like they're pulled out of 3-ring notebooks that they've got all the ripped ends. It's just complete mess in all 3 of these. As you quickly look through, it looks like all of the handwriting is the same here. A lot of it seems just like gibberish, like the rantings of a person who lives alone and has no one else to talk to. Just constant stream of thought. To read through all this, to really sift through, is going to take hours and hours of work.
Ugh, we should get this to the Institute.
Yes.
All right, so the 3 of you will say that you each grab a box, and you get back on the bus to go back to the Institute. You'll be able to catch up with Lucian and Emily, who are finishing their research into the property and into the Cuna. We'll regroup. We'll say that you share all your information together. What's our next step?
Should visit the Institute. Or the prison. Wherever Dr. Hollow is.
Dr. Malloy?
Malloy,
It's
yes.
in Berlin.
Should we read through some of Philip Harlock's journals, perhaps, and in the off chance that could guide some of our questions with Dr. Malloy?
If you can make sense of it, it is gibberish.
Wouldn't mind giving it a shot if we're okay waiting until perhaps tomorrow to depart for Berlin.
That gives
Perhaps
us
if
time
I
to...
assist, it could go faster.
And we can schedule an appointment to speak with them.
Oh, good point. It's probably not something we can just drive up and knock on the door.
All right, so if you guys decide that you're going to dig into the journals, and if all 5 of you are working, you'd all be easing the task, which means that it would be successful without a roll.
Sweet.
Excellent.
Each of you grabs just a pile of papers or a notebook or a journal of some sort, a spiral-bound notebook, and you just start flipping through and reading. There's a common theme. There's a common theme with all of these writings. First is that there's no real order. You can see that some are written in pen or pencil. They look like they're of different ages. Some of them look like they were crammed into spaces where he wrote on the top of the page, he wrote on the bottom of the page, and then he wrote another entry in the middle. Just with the way it's written, there's no real order to it. The themes of these ramblings are often about a dream palace. He considers that he has built his own mind palace where he can store information. So it kind of gives you an idea that the reason that this is so scattered is because he has his own internal organization method that he uses to reference these things. This task is made much easier because it's been put in various sorts of order by Shirley Harlock before. She's done a good job of organizing these files already. And you do find a couple mentions of the lacuna. It's mentioned quite frequently, but there's a couple that are specifically dedicated to it. And he has seemed to conflate his mind palace with the lacuna, this crystal that has infinitely faceted sides. He has sort of assigned each side a room to his mind palace, and that allows his palace to be infinitely large. He believes that he can understand the universe eventually with his system that he's developed. It really does seem like the ramblings of a madman, but as you read more and more, you realize that there is a logic to it. Whether that logic is truthful or not remains to be determined, but you can see that he had an internal sense of logic. This crystal that he describes, he doesn't... there's only one time where he mentions like actual physical characteristics, and you see an etching of a like almost football-shaped crystal that has all sorts of different sides, and then a hole directly cut in the middle of it. Naveen, this looks exactly like the crystal you saw, this etching. It's a very crude drawing, but it looks exactly like what you saw. And he also draws this stand, this 3-legged stand that is underneath it, not actually touching the crystal, but the crystal hovers over it. Emily, from your research into the true crime of what the children discussed, that's also what they described it as. They described a crystal floating over a stand. He goes on and on about all these different rooms that he's assigned. He talks about having a foyer. He talks about having a kitchen. And then he talks about more strange things, about a sewing room, a music room. And then he gets into like a show-in, like a Japanese room that has a radio in it. And it's all sorts of strange things that you can tell, like, as he ran out of things, he started just adding in various bits as he infinitely expanded his mind palace.
So this gentleman was one of those people with the mind palace intellect and memory exercises, I suppose.
I don't know about any of that, but this is the crystal I saw. This is the same one.
In what context did you see it?
The thing I saw in the club. The warehouse, that was a club, but like that thing that I said that I saw, this is the thing I said I saw.
Right, but was it on display by like the DJ?
No, it was like floating up. It wasn't attached to anything, and it was like spinning. And like I thought it was just like something
like a disco ball
I was doing, but like
Were you the only one? Did others around you see it?
I don't know. I didn't ask. It didn't come up. You don't ask about like club decor when you're dancing.
Naveen, it's fair to say that as you're doing this, you do
And
remember.
like it's clear she's getting like agitated, like because this wasn't just club decor, and she's just realizing that now.
This feeling, or this crystal, when you saw it, it caused a feeling in you, a very strong feeling that might have faded because this was a couple months ago when you saw it. But now that you're learning about this and seeing the word lacuna, it brings back that feeling, the sensation of a void, of a mass nothingness, just a greater void than it can even be comprehended. And you remember losing yourself in it, and you thought it might have been the drugs at the time, but you got lost in this crystal, in this infinitely massive space that just it continued to grow and grow and grow until you could not comprehend where you were anymore.
She I guess realizing and remembering that how it sort of manifests physically, I think she's like really thought it was just like the stuff I had taken that night. But like I don't know if it was. I mean, maybe it was also some of that, but
you haven't seen it since, right?
I haven't seen it since. And I remember thinking, wow, this is incredible. More places should do stuff like this. Because I was able to like go in and it just felt open. And like when you go to places like this, it's like there's these like
very claustrophobic.
parties
So
and
many
everybody's
people.
sweaty and dancing and like drunk and kind of high and like everyone's pressed together. So it was like weirdly nice to have this like space, but like I thought it was just decor, but like I don't know if it was just decor. It was just like I don't know, like endless.
It was not decor. Clearly, we are being targeted.
Yeah.
It's very
But by
concerning.
who? This smiling man?
This smiling man is that we all have seen to one degree or another, and that Miss Harlock has referenced as well. And now this crystal, which seems to connect to her brother. There is I am not one for conspiracies, but I would suspect that there is a larger mystery beneath all of this that connects it, that would give us the answers that we need. We have seen far too many coincidences to suggest that the very cases that we are receiving of late, the visitations, these are not just happenstance. These are not just one random, arbitrary investigation after another. We have been pulled, thrown, or we have freely walked into something greater. Have we not?
Yes.
When we were looking for the aged up image of Rowan Johnson, I was sort of hoping that maybe that face might be the smiling man face, just to try to connect those things, because it does seem like all of these occurrences are connected in ways, and I'm glad that no one else has seen the crystal, if the crystal is connected to people disappearing.
I don't know. Maybe I felt like I disappeared inside it. Like once I entered it. So it was like from the outside, it was like a thing. But then once I went inside, it was like endless. So
Could it
like
be his mind palace made manifest?
maybe
This endless void. If it is nothing, it does not make sense in this case because it is space.
No, it can't be nothing. It cannot be nothing. I thought it was nothing.
Even in the wonderful German film in text, The Never-Ending Story, the nothing was in fact something.
Wow, this is quite concerning that all of these people keep getting lost or murdered.
It also raises the question, if we are to pursue this further, will we too become lost? Will we be yet another Shirley Harlock or Rowan, 1 second, Jensen?
Hopefully, if we all go together in all of the things that we do in our investigation, maybe that will help, because Shirley went off and did this on her own, and we were right here. We could have assisted, and she chose to not avail herself of the archivists that were here. Well, I was not here when she was here,
but the other children who grew, became bonded, they went together and did not return, did they not? And Dr. Malloy has been blamed for their killing. Perhaps Dr. Malloy is not exactly what he appears. Perhaps he is not the killer after all. Perhaps he has information that could be useful to us.
Hoping that this would give us some lines of questioning for when we meet with Dr. Malloy, but perhaps he's also heard of Philip Harlock's mind palace.
We ask him about the Harlocks. We ask him about Lacuna. We ask him about Rowan, the children. We ask him all these questions, including what really did happen.
I agree. Should we research his friends before we visit, or
maybe there
Emily
is a very
included
cool musician dude who was part of the group.
I don't remember that showing
was
up in
putting
the
his life back together before tragedy struck.
Stephanie was pretty fucking cool.
So
what are you guys talking about? We don't know these
characters. Got the really cool musician dude killed. No one wanted to hear him play his guitar. It's fine.
So Emily did research on all of the people as best she could as part of that task.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, then I think...
Did we get everything that we could from the Ex Altiora with the scanned pages?
So you read the whole book, and you saw that the Cuna was referenced specifically as a place that begat a monster.
Right. I just wanted to make sure that we had exhausted that lead.
You could try to find the actual book itself, but from reading the book, that's about all you could get.
So Philip Harlock then is, to confirm, on the mother's side or the dad's side?
Her mother's uncle.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right. So we'll say that the shift ends. You all go home for the evening. You come back the next day with plans to take a train to Berlin together and try to see Dr. Malloy.
Yes.
Yep.
The next morning, Zander, can you give me an intellect defense roll, difficulty 4?
This will be 5 for my inability. And we get points back for resting, right?
So yeah, you would be able to take a 10-hour rest in between all this, so you could reset your points again.
I'll spend 3 to make it 4 again. Or an 8.
All right. So we already discussed kind of what this means, but you probably keep that knife a little bit closer today.
Yeah, it'll be more like on a belt loop, probably. You can see me like patting at my hip every now and then, just making sure it's there.
All right, so we'll say instead of meeting at the office, you all meet at the train station. You know that there is a train going to Berlin that you all decided to be on. There's no sense commuting to the office. You just took everything you need directly to the train. The group of you meet. Lucian, will say that you still have your deformity happening right now, but that stress would have fallen off by now.
So like all 4 points of it, or just a certain number?
All 4 points at this point, because it falls off 1 stress every 3 hours of rest. So by now it would have been fine.
Dankeschön.
Naveen does text Hans, her boyfriend, because he is in Berlin, and say, I'm going to be in town for a little bit for work. I don't know if I'll have time for lunch or dinner, but I just wanted to say hi, and if I do, I'll let you know.
You get a reaction to the text with a heart emoji, and you see typing, but then the typing ends. And then you are met with the rest of your group, and you see Zander with a knife on his belt. Do you have like a sheath for it?
Yeah, it's covered, so it's not all hangling-dangling.
Hangling-dangling. Does anyone call him out for this knife?
Of course.
Or are we all happy to let it be?
No, of course not.
Yeah, no, Naveen definitely, if it's visible, Naveen is going to be like, what is that for?
Guten Tag. Is a knife on the belt.
Okay.
Is it not okay?
It is not
It's
a knife.
weird.
It is the knife, and you know it.
The knife?
Do you
What
still
is
have
the
that-
knife?
You still have the
One.
farmhouse knife?
Yes.
You found
See.
this at the farmhouse?
Yes, it is a nice knife. I carrying it. It's a problem.
Yes.
I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Well, they're not going to let it take you. They're not going to let you take it into a psychiatric prison. So that's problematic for today.
Then I'll hand it over if needed. We can get through it. It's a knife.
Can we just leave it in the car?
But like,
Zander, can you
you
hand that over? Zander, can you hand that over at any point that you want?
Don't see why not. Yes.
Then might I look at it momentarily? I will return it. You can see me do it.
I reach for it, but then wince. The second thought. I think it's best if I keep it here.
Oh, do you?
And with that, we hear the bell for the train, final boarding.
I believe that you are lying to us, Zander.
Okay,
I believe that
we have
you
to-
cannot get rid of that knife, even if you wanted to.
There are some things that you cannot get rid of. I'm sure you have some. It feels safe on me.
It feels
Well,
safe
let's
on you.
talk about some of the train. We
Yeah,
have things
Frieda
to
and
do.
Naveen are hurting us.
Yeah, we have things to do. We'll
No,
talk about
seriously.
some of the train.
Let us not talk about this on the train. This man manifested a knife inside of a shack on a farm, in which we found below that shack a crazed, angry old man whom he stabbed. And over the past few months, he has been harboring and keeping this knife, and now he brings it to us, and he shows no capability whatsoever to hand it over. Why are we all taking this?
Your deformity.
I have
How's this?
explained my deformity with perfect accuracy. I have said I have miscalculated. I have provided answers to these questions. You have eluded us. You have provided no explanation whatsoever. And yet now you are somehow put in charge of this job. This makes no sense. None.
I don't have the capacity to explain. I am not as smart as you.
Put the knife down and step away from it. It is a very simple request, Zander. And if you could do such a thing, then perhaps we would all get on the train together.
If it was that simple, I would, but I cannot.
So you administer
why
it
not?
then.
What do you mean you can't? It's just a cake knife.
Yeah, it's just a knife. Emily's
say-
right. And
You
Lucian's
say
right.
it's just a knife, but the prized possession of mine.
Oh,
I heard her voice too, Zander. Do not forget. I heard
We
the
have
voice.
heard a
Is she
voice,
still-
but
Is she still speaking to you?
I've heard no such voice. I've told you.
Ooh.
He is lying. We should
I
report
also
him to
heard
Ludwig. He should be
voice.
replaced.
You think you could replace me?
Yes, I think if Naveen and Emily and Frieda and I all spoke with Ludwig, you would be replaced, Zander.
Don't make me laugh. Speak to Ludwig about replacing me? Impossible.
He is a liability.
So we definitely we're going to prison. We are never allowed to bring weapons into a prison. We don't even want to appear to a prison with any weapons. Do we all agree that perhaps we leave it in the lockers here? There are lockers in the train station. You can leave it there. We shouldn't even have it on us when we're going to the prison.
Speak of weapons, what about his gun?
Which is purchased from a actual gun store, and I have a license for it. Yours is a cake slicing knife that you found in a magical shack on a farm in which a man was liquefied. We are not the same, Zander.
A weapon is still a weapon.
It's weird
Zander.
that you won't relinquish it though. Like that's the part that feels not right.
Zander, you hear the familiar, very, very familiar voice. Oh, honey, this is so tiring, isn't it? So droll, so boring.
I don't really understand.
Let me tell you, they want you to put me in a locker. Put me in the locker. You'll come back for me, won't you? You wouldn't leave me, would you?
Of course not.
No, of course not. Say hi to Dr. Malloy for me. I miss him.
Okay.
So, Stephen, I have a thing called discerning motive. I feel weird about doing this as PvP. So you let me know if you want this just been like a narrative thing that Naveen is like something is up and not like something feels very wrong, or like I'm happy to make the discerning motive roll, but I mean she already feels like you're being weird. So
You can do whatever.
okay.
So discerning motive is a skill, then, right?
It is.
Okay.
So,
this will be.
I guess
what
what I'm mostly getting at is that this is the first Naveen has heard about anyone hearing voices on the farm. So she's.
I thought they mentioned it.
Lucian?
That's
Thank
not
you.
true. We
Sorry. Yeah, just forgot then, I guess.
I mean, Zander definitely has always denied hearing voices, I think.
Correct. I've always denied it.
But
Okay.
I think
So
Lucian,
it's-
and I think Emily, if I'm remembering correctly, also heard something.
I believe
Emily
both
and
Lucian and
did
Emily
that.
have openly admitted to hearing voices.
Yes.
On the
Okay.
screen.
I'm sorry, I just forgot. All right. In that case, then my discerning motive is, I mean, I can roll it if you want, but just narratively, I think she's already like something is clearly wrong and something is up. And I think everybody else feels that too. So I don't
and I was
need to
actually
make the roll.
gonna
I don't know
ask
if
similarly, like he responded, and so like it's one of those things where like if someone is having a hallucination, like you can sort of tell like if they're sort of responding to internal stimuli. Like did we all see that happen? Like we're obviously all engaged in this kind of discussion with Lucine and Zander. Like did we see that in Zander?
Zander, let me ask you, would you have responded verbally or just mentally? At this point, you would know that you could talk to her in your head.
Interesting. Then I would keep it in my head, I believe.
So it probably would have been like a delay where you would have seen him like standing and like taking a lot longer to respond than he should have.
This is still very, very concerning, and I do. It seems definitely I agree with Lucy. Like we could just leave it in a locker here. Not the kind of thing that
I
we
think
want
it's safe to say that your train has left as well. The doors have closed. There will be another one. The trains are fairly regular, but you've got about a half hour or so before the next train comes.
Really? We could have been on that train.
I'll
No,
just
we
say
also
the
stuck
next
here.
one is fun. Train stations have lockers. Just leave it here.
I've watched Jason Bourne. I know European train stations have lockers. What Jason Bourne tells me.
If I'm able to, I can do that. If not,
Yeah, you're
I
able
can't.
to.
Okay.
So like we talked about now, you still feel a compulsion to have it with you, but you don't have to have it on your person anymore. The roles that you're making are how much her personality is speaking to you that day.
Gotcha. So are we happy now? I've left it here.
I will not
So
be
Zander
happy
is-
until you are removed from the team and from the lead. This is folly. He is not capable of leading this team. He has been carrying that for months, hiding it from us. Let us recap for a moment. It is a cake slicing knife that he was wielding on his belt. What?
You've screamed so loud I've gone deaf.
I think you muted.
Oh shit, my bad. I'll let that burst. I am not going to be happy until he is removed from the team, and particularly leadership of it. He has been lying to us. He has been carrying that around. This is not a knife that you use in self-defense. This is a knife that you use to cut cake. Why is no one taking this more seriously? I come into work one day and I have a slight problem with my posture, and I am freely willing to admit what I have done. But this one has been hiding it from us. Then he is put in charge? This is lunacy.
Ludwig makes decisions as Ludwig makes them, but I'm glad that it stayed here, and perhaps that is a step in the right direction. But and she's sort of looking at Zander. I really still don't understand, though. It is a cake knife.
Is there something I can tell you that will make you understand?
It doesn't. I don't know. Navina's told us when she saw a crystal in a club that has come up in a thing now, in a statement, and we have all talked about the Smiling Man when he made his appearances with us, and that helped us. We don't know the solution of it yet, but we can at least work together on it.
Why is it so important to you?
It gives me purpose.
Yeah, and you didn't have purpose before the knife?
A greater one.
What
Do you
purpose?
not hear what that sounds like? That Lucian's right then. I thought maybe he was just angry because I know sometimes you have friction, but if that's how you really feel, Zander, that's not okay.
Wasn't expecting a psych evaluation this morning.
I'm not evaluating you. I'm telling you, you're being weird.
What purpose does the cake knife give you? Frantically typing to GM. Okay, well, it is an interesting thing to be bringing to work at the Institute. Perhaps we leave it at home?
That would be a good start. If you can show us...
Yes,
that's a good idea. If you can show us that you can leave it at home.
When we are going to dangerous locations, such as creepy shacks in the middle of nowhere, self-defense is needed then.
You don't think I need this knife when we're out on site? Anything can happen?
We can get you a much more... If you have taken up knife skills for your self-defense and offensive interventions, we can get you a knife that is actually made for such things. We have funds with the Institute. We just put in the ugliest carpet and paint imaginable. I'm sure we can have some petty cash to buy you a proper knife.
That Johanna barely funds for cake.
Which, if we do get cake, can we please have a different cake knife? You buried that in the gut of a man, and no matter how many times you've cleaned it.
Also, very valid points.
We will just assume that this argument continues the entire train ride to Berlin, which is a couple hours. But it's a fairly pleasant train ride otherwise. You get to take in the views. It's a nice day. You make it to the Berlin Prison Hospital. We'll say that you called ahead the day before to make arrangements. They told you the visiting protocol. Dr. Malloy is kept in a high security part of the hospital wing, but he is allowed to see visitors. So it's not a problem. You just have to be able to sign in and things like that, which you all then proceed to do. You do have to go through a couple scanners. Lucian, do you have a pistol on you that you need to worry about?
He would not have brought it with him on a train and into Lynne. There is only one lunatic in this party, and it is
only one. So you're all able to make it through security. We'll assume that if you have like other knives or weapons like that, you just didn't bring them. They don't take any personal items from you, like your cell phones or anything like that. They're not that secure. And they bring you to a visiting room. This room is split down the middle with a large plexiglass wall, and a single chair sits on the opposite side of the glass. On your side of the glass, there is a longer table with several chairs, and then a couple chairs along the wall as well. So you can all bring up a chair to this table if you wish to sit. There is a bookshelf on your side of the wall as well. There's nothing on the opposite side of the plexiglass. On top of this bookshelf, there's an old radio that's playing like jazz music very softly. It seems to be like a local radio station. And the guard that lets you in just tells you that Dr. Malloy will be there shortly. You're able to just mill about for a minute. It's a pretty drab room. It seems like this is where they do like parole hearings and things like that, or perhaps interviews with psychiatrists. And it really seems set up specifically for the administration rather than visitors. Being a prison hospital, not many visitors come to this section is the vibe you get. As you're waiting a few minutes, that's when the static cuts out. And then you hear it like picks up another station.
Find the doorman if you want to leave. Find the smiling man if you want to stay. Forever.
Nope.
And it seems like it picks up multiple stations. And this child's voice says, find the doorman if you want to leave. Find the smiling man if you want to stay forever. And then it's kind of like goes back into that jazz music a little bit. As that happens, the door on the other side of this room opens up. You see a prison guard escorts this man. He's wearing the white prison outfit, but he's got a brown cardigan over it, so you can tell that he gets a little bit more luxuries. He's not in handcuffs or anything like that, and he looks at the guard, and the guard gives him a nod, and he looks at you kind of surprised, and he says, well, what I'd give for a Caesar salad paired with a crisp white wine, like a Pinot Grigio. And we're going to go ahead and cut there for the night, and we'll pick up in our next session as we are exploring our newest statement.
Nice.
To talk to Dr. Harold Malloy.
Nice.
Who's a character we've never seen before.
What is this?
Who's not obsessed with
Never.
Mm-hmm. Let's do some shout outs. Maitreyi, what do you got going on? I hear you're restarting something.
I am. I have restarted my YouTube channel, Maitreyi Plays Games. I make system agnostic or multi-system tabletop content that centers the GM and player experience.
Fantastic. As for myself, I've written a tabletop RPG. It's coming to BackerKit soon. You can find all the links at huckleberryrpg.com. It's an action Western game. You've heard about it by now. I've talked about it on every single session that I've been on. If you haven't checked it out, though, that's a problem. Like, this is session 6. Like, you should know about this by now. So go to the website, click on all the links. Jeff, what do we got going on with Lollygaggers?
Yeah, man, we've got games that we stream on this channel, and there are more that are coming. So Saturday, we got Call of Cthulhu. We're playing through the Eternal Lies campaign. Monday, we've got Time Watch, and we are playing our Quantum Boogaloo. It's a very long title. Chrono Breaking 2, Quantum Boogaloo. We're playing time traveling shenanigans. Tuesday next week, I think we're starting up Mystery Flesh Pit, which is another Cypher system game. So Kipster's going to be running us through that next time. You can see myself, Melissa, and Maitreyi is joining us, and our buddy Derek's still in it. I tried really hard to get him out of there, but he's still there. And yeah. And next Thursday, see, we're recording this on Wednesday. Tomorrow night is the Swords of the Serpentine finale of the arc that we're currently on. It's going to determine whether we do a 4th arc or whether we move on to the next game, depending on what happens. So I have no idea what happens. So we'll find out what the next Thursday is, because I don't know. Could be anything.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Awesome.
Knows?
Future us knows this, but current us does not know this.
And future us also thanks everyone who rated, because I'm sure there will be a couple. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for chatting. I'm sorry I've not been very responsive today, but it's been a pleasure having you anyways. We have another outro? Or are we good? Is this it? This is the end. Why are you still here?
That's it. Everyone have a great rest of your night. Thanks for joining us. See you later. Auf Wiedersehen.
Later.
Tschüss.